Welcome to the Gals Guide podcast. Join us on an adventure to get to know famous and infamous women from around the world. Each of our presenters has a pick. Is she ancient history? Is she breaking news? Is she safe for work? Well, that's up to each presenter. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I'm Katie, and I'm joined by Riru, Julie, and Bonnie sharing our solidarity pick. Julie already told us about Georgia Gilmore. I want to go eat at her house.
Yes, please.
Yeah, just going to do that.
Chicken.
Mm-hmm. Bonnie told us about the missing Indigenous women and girls. And Riru talked about Tarana Burke and the Me Too movement.
Yes.
Before I introduce you to my woman of solidarity, I'd like to get to know something rebellious about our gal pals. I would like to know, what does the idea of rebelling for a cause mean to you? And how do you think solidarity strengthens that rebellion?
Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to go top of the brain again. I'm trusting it. It's not always right. But rebbing for a cause, I also think of it as the hill I'm willing to die on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's some things like, I just really don't care. Like, not my circus, not my monkeys, you know? Like, I don't feel like having a long conversation about this with you. It kind of goes back to my filmmaking days where sometimes we would go to coffee shops and we would just argue movies. Honestly, for the sake of arguing about movies. It didn't matter what the movie was. It was just the trying to find the great art in movies and stuff. But I eventually got to a point where I was like, I'm not going to even watch it because I don't even want to have the conversation. So it was knowing what hills to die on and stuff like that. Yeah. And so when it came to the filmmaking, so I was bringing that example up because it really was the filmmaking side. I was known as the female filmmaker in Indiana. Like, there was a freaking difference.
There's just one of you?
Right, there was, apparently, for a while, until I started hiring other women and say, you can do this too. You don't have to be the assistant director, the script supervisor, or, you know what I mean, an extra. You can rise up the ranks, make your own movie. I want to see your movie. But it was still the female filmmaker. So I kind of went with rebelling against that of what does it mean to be a female filmmaker. So I'm going to tell you the truth of it. And I started digging into the research and the low funding and the low distribution rates. And just basically because we don't trust women with money in the film industry. And I'm like, really? But then in my career, when I would make a movie and raise money, it was a lower number than when I would raise money as a producer for a male director. So the funding didn't lie in the terms of if I was saying, well, these dudes are in charge. We need your money to make this movie. We suddenly had more of a budget. So when I spoke up about it, where I rebelled within the Indiana film industry, it was actually to find solidarity. It was actually to have other women rise up and say, you know what, this ain't cool. And I'm glad somebody's taken all of the freaking bullets for this because I did so that they could make their movies. Right. And so I could go see their movies and so I could hire them. I mean, one of my interns that was a wee little one went on to work for Netflix. Nice. Another one went on to work for Adobe. Like, yeah. They found me and they kept right. And they probably would have done it without me too. But it was that rebelling of, let's just change this damn system because that's broken.
The community.
Yeah. Right. To know that
you can be it.
Exactly. See it and be it. So yeah, there. Sorry, I would feel like I went on a rant there. No. That is my rebel without a causing this.
I like it.
What about you, Jill?
Solidarity. Like, you can't do everything alone.
Right, yeah.
Like, you need help. You don't need, especially when it's shit like all this crap.
Yeah.
Like,
fighting the man.
Not, like,
all of
there
them.
are other people who've had very similar experiences, and, like, many hands make light work.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. No, I dig it.
Yeah.
Need that solidarity.
As somebody, I've rebelled against, like, sharing air with people. So, do you know what I mean?
Fair.
Like,
no, I get it.
Like, I've been that person my whole life. So, I think for me, the biggest rebellion was against my own self. And what I mean by that is finding the a community where I could just be me
Yeah.
and I don't have to fight everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I've found that a few times in my life where I've had a community where I could just come in and just be whoever Julie is that day,
Mhm.
whatever personality shows up.
Yeah, right? Mhm.
You know, but and that's hard for people to find, right?
yeah.
And you grow up, at least I did. You grow up and you're supposed to be these people.
Mhm.
People put you in that spot, whether it's the lone filmmaker or the rule follower or whatever, right?
Mhm.
The mom, the PTA person, the
The
person who gets
overachiever,
shit done, all that,
of it,
right?
Yeah.
And to be able to just be Julie, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And to find people who are okay with that within that group, that's been really cool.
That's
to
everything.
find that.
Yeah.
And the groups that I've had that in, I've learned and I've grown to become a better. Sorry, I just popped the mic. To be a better. I'm rebelling against the
Yeah.
to
It's
be a
happens.
better Julie, right?
Yeah.
To be a better human, to learn more empathy for certain groups or certain areas, or
Mhm.
you know how to build that community
When you
myself.
know better, you do better. Kind of my
or to
answer,
at
yeah.
least be able to welcome other people into my community and let them know they're not alone.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
I like it. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. There's strength in numbers.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, always. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. And sometimes it does take that one person to spark the flame.
Mhm.
But when they can get that big group together to be supportive, to get the attention, I think now more than ever, when we have so much media and so many platforms and so much technology,
Mhm.
One voice can be heard more than ever.
Yeah.
But is it going to be paid attention to?
Right.
Right.
Or
How
do you need
lasting is
everybody
it?
saying,
Yeah.
me too?
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Do you need everybody saying, no, look, this is a problem that is affecting a whole indigenous community?
Right.
Right.
This is
Mhm.
not just in Canada, it's in the United States.
Yep.
So I think that's why solidarity strengthens the rebellion, because it gets that more attention. You see the commonality, the way it's intertwined into your community,
Yeah.
that it's not just affecting, like Julie was talking about the Me Too,
Mhm.
like people saw that it was their sister or their
Mhm.
aunt or something like that. It brings it, into your community and helps shine the spotlight. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm
Exact-
thinking.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like it.
You gotta
And-
see it to be it.
Speaking of both of those things, oh, this is beautiful.
Does it
I
tie
love it.
right
This
in?
is beautiful.
We like it when
You're
that
welcome.
happens.
Both shining the spotlight on your community
Yeah.
and being able to see it, you can be it.
Yeah.
I feel like the woman I'm going to introduce you to today embodies both of those things.
Nice.
She is known
Fantastic.
as the midwife of the Harlem Renaissance.
Ooh. I like those words put together.
Right? It
Because
has
I
a
love the Harlem
nice-
Renaissance and I love midwives. So, like,
Right?
yes, please.
And when talking about somebody that solidarity was important to,
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like the word midwife
Mhm.
Yes.
means partner, supporter,
Mhm.
booster,
Very much
highlighter.
so.
Like just that whole word midwife
Mhm.
has, I think, we should just make it a synonym with
Yeah.
solidarity,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, I like that. I never thought of that connection either. And just like the food and solidarity kind, it was
Yeah.
there whole time.
Right.
I dig it.
Because they're things women do, and we are fucking good at
Right.
solidarity.
All the
Cheers,
things.
cheers.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I think
absolutely.
My favorite bumper sticker I've ever seen was midwife at your cervix.
At your service.
Oh my
Beautiful,
god, that's
beautiful.
brilliant.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a keeper.
Before I introduce this woman to you, I'm going to go in even deeper and tell you straight up my favorite quote I found by
Oh,
her.
yeah.
And I think you're going to see
Going
the
in hot.
ties between what I was saying and then also what we do here at the library.
Yeah.
So the quote is this: when I was a child, I used to puzzle my head ruefully over the fact that in school we studied the lives of only great white people. I took it that there were simply have been no great Negroes, and I was amazed as I grew older and I found that there were.
Oh, there's so many.
So many.
Oh, yeah. No, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But-
knowing the stories. Yeah.
My woman thought because she didn't see it in school,
Mhm.
it must not exist.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why
Very
it's
important.
important
Mhm.
that we have the library
Yeah.
to shine the light on women like Jessie Fauset.
Jessie Fauset.
That's
Look
what
at
I'm going to be
that.
talking about today.
Nice.
And that's why it was important for her
Yeah.
to become the midwife of the Harlem Renaissance,
Nice.
so she could shine the light on other people in her community
Mhm.
that were artists and had voices that needed to be heard.
Yeah.
So
Ready.
I love
I'm
it.
strapping in. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Okay. We'll go with a little bio then.
Okay, perfect. There you go.
Jessie Redmon Fauset was born April 27th in 1882.
1882.
1882.
Damn. Okay. All right.
It's a
Got
little
it.
bit-
I like it.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
as way back as I went last month.
Yeah,
but,
that's
you know,
all good. Well,
It was a bit
it was
ago.
Boudica last month. I mean, it was,
That was a way back.
Yeah.
Way
Yeah.
back.
So she was born in New Jersey
Okay. New Jersey. Yeah.
to a father who was a minister.
Okay.
And unfortunately, her mother died when she was quite young.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes. God, why does this sound like the story of so many of our women,
know,
right? Is there like a
right?
recipe we need
Well,
to
yeah,
cook
it's
up?
called There Wasn't Healthcare for Women.
Right. I'm sure there's a recipe at the bottom.
right there.
Yeah. Oh,
So
goodness.
she was actually the seventh child of her father.
Okay.
And after her mother died, her father remarried a woman that had 3 children.
Okay.
And with his second wife, he brought 3 more children into the marriage.
Oh,
so
my-
she had a huge
Yeah.
family.
That's a lot of people.
Oh, well, there has to be a recipe in there.
Oh, my goodness.
Also, her father passed away when she was also still fairly young.
Oh, no.
However,
That's a lot of children fending for themselves then.
Right. Well, they had stepmom.
Okay. Right.
But the one thing her father instilled in her and all of his children is the importance of education,
Oh,
which
yes.
once
Awesome.
again seems like a freaking theme.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Education,
Right?
please.
Women who are supported to learn and grow do badass things.
Yes,
Right.
you get farther
We
faster.
see it across.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we see it across the board. So when she was younger, after mom died, they moved to Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
So when she was school age, she went to the Philadelphia High School for Girls,
Gotcha.
which was one of the top academic schools in
Yeah.
the area.
Ah.
She graduated as valedictorian of her class
Oh, nice.
and was likely the school's first African-American graduate.
Wow.
Look at that.
I know, right?
Smart cookie. I like it. Yeah.
Very.
And historical.
So she wanted to study at Bryn Mawr College.
Yes.
Mm.
It's a women's school.
And the valedictorian of this Pennsylvania or Philadelphia High School for Girls
Yeah.
usually went to Von Maur.
Yeah.
However, the president at the time of Von Maur did not want to let in an African-American
There it is.
Not shocked.
woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Mhm.
But this, I almost want to laugh and shake my head at the same time.
Yeah.
She so didn't want Jessie to come to Bryn Mawr.
Bryn Mawr.
Yeah, Von Maur, whatever, the
Yeah,
store in
yeah.
the mall.
I'm with you. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
a mar. It's a mar.
Didn't want her to go shopping
It's
in
a
the mall.
fancy,
Right.
pompous mar that doesn't like to have marginalized people in it. We're
That's-
saying the same
it
thing.
This
hasn't
is true.
changed.
Yeah,
It
it's
hasn't
getting there. Yeah.
So she so didn't want her to go to her school
Right.
that she raised money for Jessie to attend Cornell University instead.
Ooh.
Oh,
Can you
my.
imagine that's an upgrade?
That is
Only-
that is a petty bitch.
Right?
Girl.
Yeah,
I
side
wonder how
note.
many bake sales that took.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Or trust fund?
Right.
So this president was named M. Carey Thomas.
Okay.
I just want to blacken the name.
Yeah,
a little
yeah, there
bit.
you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yes.
Because the other side note was that during their tenure as president, they prevented any Black or Jewish students from attending.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, good news.
Well,
it's not
karma's
just
a
one
bitch.
group.
Yeah.
It was 2.
Uh-huh. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
They all learn
E-
eventually.
Equal opportunity offender is what we have here.
Yeah, true. Mm.
So Jessie went to Cornell University
Sweet.
and did amazing. Duh.
Good.
We call
Yeah.
that
right.
a free ride scholarship.
Yes,
Right.
we do.
It's a good school. Yeah.
So she studied classical languages. She was, of course, graduated with honors, got into the Phi Beta Kappa. For a while, she was known as the first Black woman accepted to the Phi Beta Kappa Society.
Oh, cool.
But later on, it was found that Mary Annette Anderson was the first.
Okay, gotcha.
So if anybody wants to
Yeah.
Google Mary Annette Anderson, I feel certain she is an awesome woman. Too.
Probably also a badass.
Right?
Yes. I like it. Smart cookie as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And you know, you can't just go straight through all your schooling. She did some teaching, some other stuff, but
Yeah.
she eventually also went to the University of Pennsylvania to get her master's degree in French.
Oh, my
Mhm.
goodness. But a
Sure.
master's degree. Look
Right.
at that.
Side gig.
Mhm. And in the early times.
Right.
It wasn't online.
No, no. No.
That's right.
No Rosetta Stone.
There was no part-time master's
I mean, there probably
degree.
was. It was an actual stone.
There was an actual step.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Duolingo my ass. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
No,
Oh, you're good. We need the sidebars,
Yeah.
the comedy it brings. So she did want to stay in Pennsylvania. However, she could not find work there because of being a Black woman.
She could get educated in Pennsylvania, but not find work there. That's it. Yeah, that's a rub.
Yeah.
Also,
And I mean, maybe
sounds familiar.
maybe she could have, but I think she was like,
Well, she had standards,
Right,
hopefully. You know what I
and-
mean? Be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no.
She's like, I'm not going to go
educated.
clean anybody's house.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a titular
Yeah,
degree.
titular
Yeah, yeah,
degree,
yeah.
yes.
Well, she eventually went to Washington, D.C. That they had a segregated public school system, so she was
Right.
able to get a job in one of the schools that were for Black children,
Gotcha.
where she taught French
Okay.
and Latin.
Sure.
And she would go to Paris in the summers to study.
Ooh.
That sound lovely.
Jealous.
Wow.
Jealous.
That was the life, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
mean,
why you get
I would
a
have just.
master's in French so you can go to Paris, I
When did
think.
she met Josephine Baker?
I know, right? Exactly, yeah.
You know, I
Mhm.
probably would have just lived the good life on the Riviera in the summers,
Yep.
dealing with the kids during the school year. I'm not an
Right.
overachiever like that. However, Jessie eventually left teaching to become the literary editor for The Crisis, which was founded by W.E.B. Du Bois for the NAACP.
Yes, I love
Yes.
W.E. Du Bois.
So while
Yes.
she was teaching, she started submitting some things to the magazine.
Nice.
And eventually Du Bois said, you just have to come be the editor. We need
That's
you here in New
nice.
York being the editor of this magazine.
Sweet.
So she moved to New York to take over that position.
Okay.
Basically took over everything about it, the organization of it, the whatever.
Yeah.
She also founded a magazine for children. I think it's called
Oh.
like the Brownie. I have to find
Gotcha.
it.
So it wasn't highlights, is what you're
I was
saying.
going to
Right,
say,
right,
if you
right,
say
right.
highlights,
That
we're
was
all
right.
dead right now. We're all
Immediately
going
where
to
my brain
die.
went.
Yeah.
I'm like, please tell
Highlights.
me.
I love their search.
It was in every
I need a
dentist's
picture
office.
search
Mhm.
in my life. Do you know you can order that still?
Yeah.
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 Goodness.
'Cause
Jonah
it's
got
just-
it.
It's,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
it's
Probably
ingrained
just have
in
a
us, yeah.
backlog.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know why that was such a struggle because it's
Yeah.
literally just called the Brownies book.
Oh, the Brownies
Oh,
book.
okay.
Okay.
She also
all right,
founded
gotcha.
that for children
Cute.
because she wanted children
Yeah.
to see
Sure.
notable African American figures.
Yeah, doing amazing things.
I love
Absolutely, that she didn't get when she was in school.
Perfect.
Wow.
So she was extremely prolific in the Crisis magazine, poems, short stories, that sort of thing.
Nice.
But even bigger than that, she spent time lifting up other authors and poets from Harlem.
Ah,
So,
giving them a spotlight, giving them a, hey, you should read their stuff.
absolutely.
Beautiful.
So she fostered the careers of many well-known authors of the Harlem Renaissance.
Yeah.
Country Cullen,
Okay.
Claude McKay,
Okay.
Jean Toomer,
Okay.
somebody
bad I
named
don't know
Langston
these.
Hughes.
Langston Hughes is
A little man
amazing.
named
There we go.
Langston.
Ding, ding, ding. I
Yes.
have a winner. Yeah.
Anne Spencer, who I'm not familiar with, but I
Gotcha.
definitely need to
Okay.
get a woman's name in there, right?
Thank you. Appreciate your service.
So I feel like it was actually Hughes that kind of helped her get her name as the
Yeah.
midwife of the Renaissance.
Ah,
And he was not just talking about Jessie, though.
Mhm.
Hughes wrote in his memoir, The Big C, that Jessie Fauset at the Crisis and Charles Johnson at Opportunity and Alan Locke in Washington were the people who midwifed the so-called new Negro literature into being.
oh,
Wow.
there you go. I like
He
that
was a
kind of.
pretty neat guy, that
Yeah.
Langston. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. And
you
good
may
with
have never
a turn
heard
of a
his
phrase.
poetry without Jessie.
Yeah.
it's pretty
Nurturing his
amazing.
talent, publishing him,
Nice.
getting him out there. Maybe you still would have, but let's
Maybe,
just
but I'm
assume.
sure it helped. I
Right,
mean, anybody
absolutely.
believing in you helps.
So I didn't see any information on the specifics of this, but after 8 years of serving as the literary editor of The Crisis, she was having some conflicts with Du Bois that were starting to take their toll. So
Right.
she resigned her position in 1927.
Okay, gotcha.
So at that point, she moved on back to teaching.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's moving on. She went back to teaching.
Yeah, there you go.
However,
Yeah.
the moving on part would be that, she'd been doing all these poems and short stories. It gave her a moment to focus on writing novels.
Oh, she could write something longer
Mm-hmm.
for herself. Yes.
And
I
her
like it.
first novel was published while she was still the editor of The Crisis.
Mhm.
But altogether, she wrote 4 novels.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yep. She wrote There is Confusion, Plum Bun, The
Cute.
Chinaberry Tree, and Comedy American Style.
Oh, okay.
So she felt like there was come on. She didn't just feel it. There was a huge lack of positive depictions of American African lives in contemporary literature.
Yeah.
Right. And especially written by women. So
she wanted to explore the contemporary issues of identity among African Americans, including issues that related to the community's assessment of skin color.
Ah, nice.
And so that's what I think all 4 of her novels had parts that explored that.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 of her novels represented a very middle-class, educated African-American population.
Nice.
And that was kind of mixed received.
Sure.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
My
that particular time
publishers
period.
didn't want to publish it
Right.
because that's not how white people saw
Right.
black people.
Right.
They were not
As
middle-class,
middle-class,
educated
Right.
Mhm.
people.
Right.
And
And yet they were.
then, right?
Yeah.
And then black people had some issues with her seeming to represent and talk and write about a smaller portion of their population.
Gotcha.
The smaller
the uppity
representation.
part.
Yeah,
that
the more privileged.
Her characters
that
were
stereotype,
accused of being
yeah.
kind of bougie.
Right.
bourgeoisie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
And, I think it's good. You need to show diversity within
Yes.
your own population.
That's why you need more novels out there.
but-
Yeah.
Look, we are in the 1920s and 1930s. The
Correct.
majority of African Americans did not have a lot of access and wealth.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Right.
she was writing about a smaller portion
Yeah.
of her community.
It makes me think of Lorraine Hansberry and A Raisin in the Sun,
Mhm.
which was about moving up and that struggle.
Mhm.
And that was like, the 50s. So I get it. Yeah.
But especially at that time, like you said, she's living in a big city,
Yeah.
Yep.
writing about people she knows about, whereas
If it's being
that was
sold
not
to
the
middle
rest
America.
of the nation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was Chicago, New York, maybe one other bigger
rural
city,
part of the country,
Right.
yeah.
But
they
the
were
rest
not-
of it was not that.
Right.
So
Right.
I could unfortunately see where they were like, you add a touch.
Right.
But
And there's probably like 6 publishers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah. And one was hers.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
she knows that guy. Do you know what I mean?
True.
Well, and she was accused of her novels were illustrating the evidence that lighter-skinned blacks enjoyed more privilege.
Right.
Which they did.
Yeah.
And they still kind of do. And
Yeah.
that's not.
It's an
I'm a
interesting
white-
conversation.
I'm
yeah.
a white woman, y'all.
Mhm.
I don't even pretend to speak on behalf of anybody who is darker melanin than my skin.
Mhm.
But the facts, unfortunately, are.
Yeah.
Is that lady in California that she married some rich dude? She was very white passing.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I forget what it was. Someone like a laundromat or something?
Could have been.
I don't remember.
Yeah. There's just the history alone of somebody who the community viewed as white and then found out, and then they're like, we were tricked. No, you were not. You saw what you wanted to
Right.
see. And yes, and you should have not have been paying attention whatsoever. Like it shouldn't have been a factor. But here we are. Yeah.
Well, my own personal feelings, even though I have not read the books, but just reading through a few articles about her and watching a video about her, the synopsis of her books, which, come on, that's fact.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what happened in
This
the book.
happened.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of them have their characters embracing their heritage.
Gotcha.
So even
Yeah.
in one book, she has a character that
Complex,
spends some
yeah.
time passing as white, but in the end, they decide that it's not worth it, that they want to be in touch with their own heritage and who they truly
It's
are.
a journey.
So yes,
Yeah.
I didn't think that assessment was necessarily very fair about
Right.
her work.
Yeah.
But
there you
that
go.
was also a struggle that I use the word struggle purposefully.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the struggle that happened then and happens now. And that came down to safety for some people.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And for other people, it wasn't a factor because once again, their skin color was darker.
Mhm.
Is it a safety factor? Is it a comfort factor? Can I get a better job if I can
Right.
so-called pass? Can I,
Yeah.
will I be treated better?
It also reminds me of the personal librarian that we read for
Yeah.
book
Yeah.
club, where she got that job because
Right.
she could pass a little bit or make white people not as uncomfortable
Right.
as they should be and get over themselves.
And I saw a lot of evidence in articles of people, because I haven't read her works, but people saying that her works are still very relevant
Nice.
to what's happening today. And
'Cause
that she
truth
was
is
very
timeless.
much a forgotten individual from history.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
I haven't
I had
heard of
never
her.
heard of
Yeah.
her, yeah.
That she was, I think she was brought back to the spotlight a little bit during the 70s in the feminist movement.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Because there were some articles written about her that explored the fact that her books always also talked about like the female conscience.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Consciousness. Yeah.
Consciousness.
The consciousness raising seminars. I so
addition-
wanted to bring those back. Yeah.
Focus on racial identity,
don't.
and she explores the female consciousness.
There
Yeah.
it
The
is. Yeah.
thinks-
So
thinks we
70s,
thinks.
darling. Yeah.
The thoughts
Yeah.
we thinks.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? Because
But,
we do that.
And I
I
can't
can't-
emphasize
spoiler.
this enough.
Yeah.
Do not bring this back.
I can't spell it. That was my first, like, maybe if I can't even spell it, maybe I shouldn't try to bring it back.
Yeah.
Consensus. Yeah.
Yeah. But
It
the
even
idea
looks
of
like-
bringing
really
women
cool.
together.
Yeah.
Sounds really, really cool. Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, even one of the things I read said that contemporary African American studies of literature don't talk about her enough, and that you
Gotcha.
know when they've asked like, "Do you know about her?" people wouldn't know about her as much. But
Yeah.
so I think it's important
there's
we talk
cheerleading
about
to do.
Jessie Fauset,
Jessie Fauset.
Yeah.
the midwife of the Harlem Renaissance.
I mean,
I like
if
that.
she's one of the reasons we have Langston Hughes,
Right.
Beautiful,
how
right?
do we not know about
Mm,
her?
I
That's
know,
why it's like my
right?
brain keeps going,
She's
that
in his
doesn't add up.
Right.
she's in his
Mhm.
memoir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, my
just
goodness.
dig into that, and you'll be like, Jessie, you
Mhm.
badass bitch. Look
Right.
what you did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
100%.
fantastic.
Thanks for bringing her.
Good, good way to end Solidarity Month.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yay! See
Thank
that
you.
bit of positivity. I like it.
I mean, there's
It's the spice of
nothing
life,
we
that variety.
can't do.
Right, exactly.
Still not
We
a
might be
recipe
beaten
in there.
down.
Right.
We might be, yeah, but
Yep.
Maybe
getting
there's one in her
together.
book. We need to find her book.
I know,
and see if
right?
There's a recipe
Mhm.
scrolled away in there somewhere.
That's right.
There's guts to be. Sweet. Well, did you want to wrap us up for the
Absolutely.
month? Oh, my goodness.
That wraps up Solidarity Month. Join us next week as we learn about women who embody equality. Gals who demand equal opportunities, freedoms, or recognition within society. Thanks for listening.
Want to learn about more women of history? Gal's Guide opened a unique women's history lending library. Come visit and explore our collection. Learn more at galsguide.org. Thanks for listening.